Hello friends, in this video we are going to discuss the physiology of the skin. The very first, when we talk of skin, we have three layers of the skin. The very first is epidermis. This epidermis is the outer layer of the skin. So this epidermis is the outer layer of the skin. Second we have is dermis. Below the epidermis we have dermis layer, and below the dermis we have hypodermis. Below the dermis we have hypodermis. Okay. Next, when we talk of epidermis, which is the outer layer, so the epidermis is the outer layer, and this epidermis is made up of cells, that is, it is the cellular layer. So when we talk of epidermis, it is the outer layer of the skin and it is made up of cell, that is the outer layer of the skin is epidermis and it is the cellular layer which is made up of keratinocytes. Okay, so below the epidermis we have dermis. When we talk of dermis, okay, it is below the epidermis is the dermis, and this dermis is made up of collagen, and elastic fibers. So when we talk of dermis, it is made up of collagen and elastic fiber. Okay, and when we talk of the epidermis and dermis, the junction of epidermis and dermis is known as basement membrane. Suppose this is epidermis and this is the dermis. Okay, so between the epidermis and dermis, the junction of this epidermis and dermis, it is known as the basement membrane. Okay, so what is basement membrane? It is the junction of the epidermis and the dermis. So the basement membrane is the junction of epidermis and the dermis. Next one is hypodermis. The very first we have is epidermis. Next is basement membrane. Next is dermis. Okay. This epidermis and dermis, the junction is known as basement membrane. And below the epidermis we have is hypodermis. Okay. So what is hypodermis? This hypodermis, it is made up of fat cells. Okay, so the hypodermis is made up of the fat cells. So quickly we will revise the layers of the skin. The very first outer layer we have is epidermis, and the junction, it is like this. Now this basement membrane is look like this. Okay, and below that basement membrane you have is dermis, and below the this is the dermis. This is the basement membrane. Below the basement membrane you have is dermis. Below the dermis we have is hypodermis. Okay, this epidermis, it is made up of cellular layer, that is keratinocytes. This dermis, it is made up of collagen and elastic fibers. Hypodermis is made up of fat cells. Okay, and this one na, so this junction, it is known as basement membrane, and this part is known as rete ridges, and below this part is known as dermal papilla. Okay, and when we talk of epidermis, this epidermis is again having a layers of epidermis that we will study in the next video, the layers of epidermis.